blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blurst.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to episode 16 of Blurst. Glad to have you here this week. It's your boy Bleezy on the mic right off the rip. I got lucky again, guys. I'm here. But as always, I'm also here with Hayden and Kais. What's up, guys?
Hola. How are we doing, boys? We're reeling after that Falcons loss, which I can't wait to get into. But we're excited after UGA's pummeling. What about you, Hayden?
Tuesday again, in it.
Oh, mate! Oh, whoa!
Yeah, that's a tough game to watch for sure.
Really is not the word I would use.
Imagine that. You're gonna be optimistic about this. Wow. Okay.
Yes, because it ended with optimism.
Oh boy.
Boy.
Are we just doing it right now?
Yeah. Do we
Big,
want? No. I
I
do want to hear more from Hayden
SpongeBob,
other
anyone?
than Tuesday.
Well,
What
I
do
was
we-
honoring the Queen there, so
Yes, of course.
had to dedicate that accent to her. R.I.P.
Yes.
Yeah, just hanging and banging, you know. That was just
Nice.
a joke. I don't know. It's just a rhyme.
Just hanging and banging. You know.
No,
There's
no
no-
context to that.
Same things I always.
I like
say.
that hat.
Thank you. I got some new
Yeah.
Georgia gear. I
Looks
did
right.
not have a
Yeah.
ton of Georgia gear since college, and I felt like living in Georgia, like I was like everybody always wears Georgia gear all the
Yeah.
time. So I was like,
Now you move.
but
halfway
out
across
in
the
Walmart.
country.
Colorado, it makes you a little special. So shout out to the Stakeout Saloon, my guys over there and gals.
Hell yeah.
Cheering on the dogs every week, going after it.
Did you say that was a UGA and Iowa bar?
And Clemson, apparently. I
And
haven't-
Clemson.
Yeah,
What
the
a
timing
wild-
hasn't matched up with the Clemson game at the same time, luckily. So
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, it was fun to go up there and watch the dogs put it on South Carolina
That's
Hell
awesome.
Yeah, they did.
with a bunch of hardcore fans. So it's like being at the stadium almost.
Dope.
It's honestly better though because you get to eat, you're air conditioned,
Oh yeah,
you leave when
Yeah.
you want.
beer at
I-
10 a.m. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. The older I've gotten, like unless I have the whole night set out or like the day set up plan wise to go do a game, just watching at home sounds nice. I don't know.
It's so
Oh,
much better with
lovely.
the TV quality. My goodness.
Yes. Yeah. God. Any snack I want in the fridge.
It
Yeah.
reminds me. I'll tell this story real quick. When we were in school at UGA, a couple of older guys from White County went to UGA as well. I think it was Vanderbilt, but we were watching the game with like C.J. McDonald, Chance Seagraves. We were sitting in the end zone, and then it was like the halftime, and C.J. had been gone for 45 minutes. Everybody's like, "Where did C.J. go?" He'd gone home to watch the game. So I mean,
That's awesome, honestly.
after you go to every game for a while, then it's like a blowout or not a
Yeah.
super interesting game, and it's just hot. You had to wait for 3 hours outside the gate
To
and
even
stuff,
get a good seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
it's
that.
crazy. But
Yeah.
where do we want to jump in here?
No,
Well,
we'll
yeah,
just
why
jump
don't we
right
go
in where the
straight
water's
Falcons?
hot. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So,
boy.
all right, cool. Let me just preface this. So yesterday, we're recording this on Monday night. We're chatting while watching the game, and we're all pretty at halftime. We're like, "Yeah, this game's over." It felt like last year, kind of. You're playing a good team, and all right, here we go again, losing to a good team. Like, which for me was very disappointing because Aaron, you reminded me. I said best case scenario, we lose only by 3 points,
Yep.
and at halftime, not looking. We had only 3 points. It was not looking
Yeah.
good.
I'll give you credit there. You got a little closer to that mark.
We got a lot closer to that mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, we lost 31-27. Unlike the week before where we played 3 complete quarters and 1 quarter of what the hell just happened. We had the opposite. We played two
Two and a
we
half,
played-
almost 3.
Yeah, exactly. We did not play. Let's say that. We did not
Yeah.
play for 2.5, almost 3 quarters. And then we finally decided to play and we put it on them at the end. Like, I mean, it was very surprising. I did not expect. So my fiance, she is a Rams fan. Her dad's been a lifelong Rams fan. They won the big one last year, or this, I guess it was in February. We watched that, had a great time watching it. There was a big rivalry in the house yesterday. And
I bet.
I was talking a lot of smack before the game because I was like, this is the only time I can talk smack. So let me have this moment. Like, let me just have this. And she was really good about it in the game. Like, it was
That was
21-3
brave of
at halftime, and she didn't. Yeah, she knew I was feeling down, so she didn't say anything. She just kind of left it there. But at the end, after the game was over and they won, we got in bed for the end of the night. She goes, "How about them Rams?" Like, just that sly comment.
Yes.
But yeah, it was enough to I understood. Yeah, I got it. I was disappointed. I feel like honestly, Rams fans may have been more disappointed about the way the game ended. Obviously, more than the Falcons. But let's hop in there. Were you when the game ended? Were you disappointed with how with this? What am I trying to say? I mean, there's a lot to this. Were you disappointed when the game ended?
Still,
31-27.
yes. I
Still,
was
yes.
still disappointed, yes.
Even though your expectation was to lose by double digits.
Correct. Yes, because and that is what happened throughout most of the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that I was still disappointed. It was still it was a double disappointment at that point. I had been being disappointed for almost 3 quarters. And then I was like, wow, is this happening right now? I mean, I had switched over to red zone and everything, so I was only catching a glimpse of it. And it was on red zone when I actually flipped back to the game because I was like, I kept seeing them pop up on red zone, and I was like, oh my goodness, all right. And so I flipped back, and yeah, I'll admit, even though I've been very harsh about it, it was cool to see the comeback, especially in the way that we did it.
Yes.
With blocking the punt and returning it for a touchdown. Did you guys know that hasn't happened in 32 years?
Yeah, I think Hayden since 1990.
Yeah. Statistically, how is that possible? It's over 500 games. Think about how many punts they've had.
It's like bad teams stay bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I guess, but like you could just walk in. You don't have to be a good team to block a punt for a touchdown. Like it could just happen one time.
When we did the blurst of the week about the Browns and we discovered the Falcons' winning percentage lifetimes less than the Browns, we should have realized then that it's not that shocking.
It makes sense, though.
I guess even when we've been good, our defenses haven't been known to be good.
Yeah. I mean, the last time we had a top 10 defense was no, they weren't top 10. I think they were like they were definitely top 15 the year we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they weren't even top 10. They were top 10 for the last half of the season.
Yeah,
but I think they finished 17.
Just like the offense did, and it was just a perfect storm.
Yeah,
that year. But
so, jumping back to Blake's question, I'll say that I was disappointed mostly because of how the game ended on the last play. I think if we get a throw off to the end zone, then I'm probably like, okay, well, they fought hard. And, we had a shot at the end. The fact that we didn't get a throw off, that just, was heartbreaking. Yeah. You watch the entire game, and then you actually have a shot at the end, and you can't get a throw off.
And the worst part was they didn't even send pressure. It was 3 guys.
Yeah.
It was 3. And you're a mobile quarterback. I don't.
Not only are you a mobile quarterback, let's just stop.
He had time to throw the ball.
No, let's stop even before that. Numbers-wise, let's look at numbers.
Yeah.
Okay? They rushed 3. And yes, we're sending every receiver or eligible player out to go catch the ball. But even with that said, there are 5 offensive linemen. 3v5, against 5 professionals, you should be winning that. Marcus Mariota shouldn't have to use his legs.
Well,
now, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, he had some time, and Aaron Donald punched through the center. And the issue, which Aaron Donald was one of the greatest defensive tackles to play.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing. You can double team Aaron Donald from either side.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I didn't think it was an offensive line sack. I felt like it was a Mariota sack. Like if you watch the playback,
they gave him enough time for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he ran into the sack.
But I think that
he's making a read. He's not making a read.
Yeah, you're not. You don't have to go through your options.
You don't even have to be looking.
You know where Drake London and Kyle Pitts are at. Throw it that way.
Yes, you can turn around and throw it as far as you can and hope for the best. Because that's what a Hail Mary is. So
look down the field. It's literally why it's called that. Look down the field and wait for them to be an approximate range away from the end zone to where if you throw it, it'll get there right when they get there.
I mean, really,
that's it. That's all you have to do.
It's a couple of different things. It's Mariota. It seemed like he was trying to find the open guy 60 yards away or whatever, which is ridiculous.
It made no sense.
2, the best quarterbacks at Hail Marys, you got to look at Aaron Rodgers, of course, because he's done it so many times.
He has.
You have to have an internal clock, and you have to count. And
you should know how long it's going to take them to get to where you need to throw the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what,
And so you don't even have to
Aaron.
look downfield. And, like, you know, obviously the offensive line 5 versus 3 should win. But you have to be, as the quarterback, your first job on a Hail Mary is to manipulate where the defensive linemen are on the field to where you can get a throw off.
Right. You need to look at the pocket.
Yep.
And figure out how it's forming and then go from there.
On a Hail Mary, you should never be looking to your sideline. Like when he looked to his right to start running that way, I was like, what are you doing? Like this, what is, but let's just rewind before that too. The drive before that, he throws an interception on 3rd and 14 when you're in the end zone.
Yep.
To Brian Edwards, who's double covered with Jalen Ramsey over the top of him when Kyle Pitts is to his left, wide open in the end zone.
Yes. Somehow I forgot about that one. And like,
that's even, it makes it even worse.
That one's probably worse because
it's worse.
It was a 2-down situation. It was 3rd down and 14 or whatever.
Yep.
But you don't have to pick all of it up. You don't have to throw a jump ball in the end zone. Do that on 4th down if you want to do that.
You have time too to take a timeout. You like I'm not saying like during the play, obviously you can't call time during the play, but like if you don't get the first there, you have so much options. Like really your job there should be either you run for a minimum gain, you throw a check down, or you do look for the end zone, but you throw it at the open guy, not the double cover guy. And it's very similar to his interception in the beginning of the game where he just throws a bomb over the top to their safety. That's the only person in the area was the safety just waiting there.
Man.
Yeah.
At least that was a deep shot. This was like a 30-yard throw.
Now, I'm not taking any heat off of Mariota here from what you guys just said because you're 100% right. But I will say it's a little disappointing in Brian Edwards' effort on that.
It was bad. It was bad timing.
I think, could have prevented the pick himself.
I agree.
Had he given a better effort, because it was Jalen Ramsey, I think, picked it off, right?
He did. He like mossed over behind.
He did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Brian Edwards makes a better play on the ball, because they're taught to do that. I mean, you're a professional wide receiver. In those situations, you're supposed to be taught to recognize it and play a little DB yourself for half a second, and prevent that from happening, especially in that situation. I know it's still mainly everything you guys said, but I did want to bring that up because that did disappoint me as well.
He may have been confused why the ball's being thrown to him. What the fuck is going on?
That's true. He was
here?
like, no way, that's not happening.
That's not to me, is it?
That couldn't be. There's got to be someone right there that's going to catch it. And there was, but he was wearing white and yellow. Which why? Why did they wear their aways?
Yeah, I think they love wearing those white jerseys. I'm not sure.
I hate that. I accept the Cowboys doing it, even though I still hate it because that's a tradition there.
Yeah.
But Rams, what are we?
Yeah, they're such pretty blue uniforms.
It's because LA's a transplant city, and so they don't have any home games really.
There we go. I like that.
Even the Falcons, like it sounded like loud still for the Falcons. Which
well, we might have had those portable speakers on the sideline. We're
pumping those.
Noise.
Yeah, we've got in trouble for that a time or two. So,
Yes.
Before we dive into the after game breakdown of everything that happened, I kind of wanted to go kind of quarter by quarter here, and I've highlighted the drives because I want to talk. I do want to say this. I think watching the first half of the game, part that was disappointing for me was, we can just say it, the defense looked bad first half.
Mm-hmm.
They did. They couldn't stop. They had one stop the whole first half. It was an interception off Stafford, and honestly, Stafford had a bad read. It wasn't even like we made a good play later in the game.
It was just
it was just a bad throw by Stafford. Yeah. But I want to say the offense actually didn't look bad. It looked that way at halftime because of what happened. So on the first drive, we go down, we get to the 18-yard line on first down. On 3rd and 6, we get backed up 10 yards because of a penalty. I think it was Lindstrom actually this time who got the hold. Then Mariota takes a sack on 3rd and 16, which bounces it back even further. And that was one of those sacks that you just got to throw it away. You didn't see anything open. You're trying to make a play. You're trying to extend it. You got to throw it away because you got to get points here. And then Koo misses the 44-yard field goal, which he's normally automatic from that range. So it's a little disappointing. But still, the penalty onto the sack, onto the missed field goal, you just felt it coming.
Yeah, because of what you just said, with the fact that Koo is normally very good and very consistent.
Yes.
Occasionally, even a good kicker, a great kicker, Justin Tucker misses sometimes. That's going to happen. So, yes, destiny happened in that moment, and we missed a field goal from a reliable kicker. That I can live with. What I can't live with is everything you mentioned that happened leading up to that.
Yeah. Because here's the thing too, is against the Rams, and we talked about this before the game. we've been talking about this. One, we can't beat ourselves. We can't have these self-inflicted wounds,
Right?
Like, and because you're not going to beat these good teams. Two, when you're on the 18-yard line and you get up, well, actually, you gotta try to score a touchdown here. Like you gotta, or against bad teams too. Yeah, hopefully that's not the case. We'll find out this weekend.
So.
But yeah, so he takes a sack. We miss the field goal. Rams get the ball. They drive like it was the easiest thing they've ever done. They go straight down the field. They score.
Falcons looked like Georgia cutting through South Carolina.
It did. It really
did.
I'll be honest though, man. We said this before the game too. I think Hayden made a really good point about this. I would hate to be the team to play the Rams after they got their butts kicked against the Bills. Like,
but the thing was, even to that, and I'm not saying this is like a super preventable thing just from you as the Falcons, like knowing it. But they also talked about that all week. It wasn't like this was some sort of surprise. The Falcons, Art Smith himself, Rich McKay even talked about it. Just the fact that yes, they're the defending champs. They lost badly in their opener, and also they've had 10 days of rest, like because they played on the first Thursday.
Right.
So none of that should have snuck up to them. But and again, I'm not saying that like it's easier to just say, yeah, we're not going to get manhandled. It's easy to say that and then go out and still get manhandled, but I don't know. It just
I mean, I get what you're saying. But like my thing is too is like when they look in the mirror, they see Aaron Donald, they see Jalen Ramsey, they see Cooper Kupp, like they see top premier players who just won a Super Bowl. Whereas the Falcons, they look in the mirror and they
ridiculous.
He's so good. He's so good.
It's like trying to catch smoke. Like hands.
He's so good. It's incredible how good he is. But my point is, like, this team did just win a Super Bowl for a reason. Like,
yes.
And they signed Bobby Wagner in the offseason, too. They lost Von Miller, but they get Bobby Wagner. Like, they're not – they got better in some ways, probably a little worse in other ways. But still, like, overall, this is a great team. So I agree with you. And I think the fact that the game was even as close as it was at the end shows testament to our players kind of playing overachieving a little bit. But we'll get there. I know you probably don't like to hear that. But on the second drive, I want to talk about this because we don't actually punt until the second half, which is crazy because we only scored 3 points in the first half.
That was
so
weird.
The second drive, we get to the 50-yard line on 4th and 2, which we have to talk about this for several reasons. Mariota makes the wrong read on an RPO. Hayden points this out. And he gets stuffed. And we turn the ball over on downs. And the Rams get the ball and they go score really easy again.
The keeper wasn't there either. He needed to keep it and then toss it.
It was wide open too. And you're supposed to.
Oh yeah.
We're playing in the pistol because of you, Mariota. Like this is for you, and you can't even execute your own play design. It bothers the hell out of me.
I do want to just play devil's advocate, and this is going to be. I'm basically playing.
No, you should.
Blake.
Yeah, you should.
I'm playing Blake here on this one actually, and it's that we do have to leave a small bit of a shadow of a doubt on whether or not that was actually an RPO, because what you do with read plays and what you do with pretty much any read play, not just an RPO, you're going to run the RPO sometimes, and the other times you're going to run a play that looks exactly like the RPO but is a designated handoff or a throw.
I don't think it was.
Is there a chance that that's what that was?
I actually don't even know if it was an RPO because that would be a run play option. I think it actually was just an option run. Like I think it was just like you had the option to hand off, keep, or pitch. And
it was basically a triple option.
No, and after the play, Arthur Smith had to talk about it because they asked him about it because here's what kills me about it. The media after game 1's pissed at Arthur for not going for it on 4th down.
Right. After
game 2, they go, "Why'd you go for it on 4th down?" Like you.
No, that I understand. Yeah,
and so
that is frustrating.
It's frustrating. He explains the play to them, and they explains what happened and how Mariota had the read and he could have chose what to do with it.
Okay, so he was referring to that.
Yeah,
play.
it was that play.
So it was an actual read.
It was a read, yes. Yeah. And the part that just makes me very upset about it was that, and I see fans on Twitter doing the same thing. They're flaming Art for going for that on 4th down. It's like, you can't do that to Art. You can't flame him the week before for not going on 4th down. And then he goes for a 4th down. And now you're telling me that, now he's a flip-flopper. He actually doesn't have his own principles. He's going based on what the media says. It's like, what? You can't.
The situation definitely merited going for it.
It did.
You're an underdog on the road to the Super Bowl champions.
They scored at ease on that first drive.
So I have no problem with that. But obviously, I don't know. Mariota's been running read options since he was at Oregon. Obviously,
Probably
before
since
then.
he was
He's
a
probably been
kid.
doing it his entire life.
Yeah.
yeah,
probably so. And like obviously that was not part of Matt Ryan's repertoire. So
No.
we did not we have these in the playbook specifically for him because that's what he's supposed to be good at.
Yes.
And he made the wrong read and it cost us a possession.
He went with the safe read. He went with the thing where it's like, well, I bet CPAC can get these tough yards because he's a tough runner. But like, that's my thing about Mariota's last 2 weeks. He looks lost out there at times. Like he doesn't have a good sense of what's going on. Like when he was fighting for extra yards, even though he already got the first down against the Saints and he fumbled the ball. He's like, well, I didn't know where I was out on the field. How do you not know that?
Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
When you say that afterwards, like, oh, I didn't realize I'd already gotten the first. It's like,
why? Why didn't you
have you
realize
not?
that?
That's
I
like
get it.
who was it that said that they were seeing ghosts out there? Sam Darnold, his rookie
Sam,
year.
yes, I think it was.
It sounds like something a rookie would say. And like I know we're going drive by drive, but like Mariota's driving me nuts. He's driving me nuts because if you are making these mistakes, there's absolutely no reason that Ritter would not give us a better chance to win.
100%. 100%. There was nothing Mariota done in the last 2 games. I'm gonna be honest. Nothing he's done in the last 2 games where I'm like, well, Ritter couldn't do that.
Yeah,
100%.
Maybe Ritter makes more mistakes because he's a rookie. I'm fine with that though. You're
I don't
fine
think
all
so.
day.
That's
exactly
to Hayden's
no.
point. As Hayden just saying, he's making rookie mistakes. So why not?
Yeah, he's already making the mistakes. So
He's
Ritter
making
really
wrong
couldn't be much
reads,
worse.
Also,
throwing bad
just another
interceptions,
thing.
not sliding,
yeah,
turning the ball over.
We don't need to keep beating this dead horse, but for another beat, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it also speaks to like he has not only been, sure, it's his first year in Atlanta, but he was brought in because he's familiar with Art's offense.
Yes.
He played in it for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, has Art's offense probably changed? Yes. Every coach evolves every single year, adds things to their playbook, takes things out, changes their philosophy a little bit. But overall, it's going to be about the same, especially from, a group of people who've never played it for Art versus someone who has played for him for as long as Mariota did.
Yep.
And so those lost moments, like you said, make even less sense.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And Hayden, you mentioned this too. Like the playbook has been more wide open this year. Like if you watch this team last year and watch this team this year, the playbook looks a lot different. And it's not because it's a new playbook. It's just because Art can do more with a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, that's clearly what he wanted.
Yes.
Based off not only the signing of Mariota, but also drafting
Ritter.
It's almost the same thing.
Yep.
So,
100%. I agree by this. So we turn over the ball on that second drive. The third drive we're down 14-0 at this point. We get to the 8-yard line. We get another penalty. I think this time it's Drew Dahlman. I could be wrong. It could be vice versa, but Dahlman got a penalty and Lindstrom got a bad penalty. Pushes us back again. This time we settle for a field goal. So it's 14-3 at this point. And then the Rams' third drive, they throw an interception. I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, we could get back in this game 14-3. Like, we're not out of it yet. It's not looking great. But, like, the offense is actually – we've gotten to the red zone twice already. On our first 2 or 3 drives, we got to the red zone twice. Another time we turn around downs. But Mariota throws an interception this time. And it was like – it's an inexcusable one. If you go back and watch the replay, he overthrows the guy by a mile just to the safety over the top. There really was no need for it. Rams get the ball. They score they score an easy touchdown on their 4th drive. So this halftime score is 21-3. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty crappy about what we talked about last week.
You've already nailed like 3 or 4 cuss words, by the way, Blake. So fuck it. The curseless episode's not going to happen this week. So we get to be ourselves for another week. Yeah.
Was it all Blake though? Because
it was all Blake.
Yes. Heck
dropped
hell yeah.
Fuck earlier. So. You guys just say whatever you want.
I don't recall
Go ahead. Drop a C word out there.
But hell, you can not be explicit and say hell.
Hell's fine.
Hell's fine.
Because it's a place.
He's fired up, everybody. Yeah. So
I am fired up. So at halftime, I thought I was eating my words. I was like, man, I really said that we could probably go out there and be like a 1-score game. I also was like eating my words like, wow, the improvement I want to see this year by the Falcons is not the fact that you win this game, because going into the game, we all said we'd lose. I'm optimistic about the Falcons this year, but I knew we wouldn't. Like, in order to win this game, everything has to go right for us.
Sure.
Turns out that's not true. We actually could have horrible stuff happen most of the game and still almost win it, which is pretty crazy. But at halftime, I was just like, wow, this is the same Falcons. Like, this is not a good look from Arthur Smith. Like, you can't blow a lead, a 16-point lead the week before, and then come out here and do what you're doing right now, and it be okay. Like, I get blowing leads when your team's not like when our roster is where our roster is at, because we have to be fair to Arthur and Terry Fontenot and the whole staff. The roster last year's not good. The roster this year is still not great.
But it's much better. I think it's much
it is
better constructed
on a budget.
This actually made me. You know how we talked earlier, and you asked me my thoughts on Art Smith, as well as earlier in the year,
yeah,
as well as Terry Fontenot, and I told you I didn't like Art, but I told you I still couldn't get a read on Fontenot yet.
Yeah.
After this, or looking at the way they constructed the roster in the limitations that they had, I thought that was a big plus for Fontenot, not necessarily Art, but
no, I agree. I 100% agree with you. Regardless of what happens with Art, like this won't be the year that determines his future, and it'll be next year. But regardless of what happens, I think Fontenot is a very good GM so far. Like we're gonna say Hayden?
I don't know, man. I know early on we said I don't know if Art could possibly get fired this year. If we keep losing games in the fashion that we're losing games, it is hard. Like as far as like Arthur Blank to make, it's Blank's decision, obviously.
Yes.
I mean,
and also you got to wonder to continue Hayden's point. You got to wonder, is Arthur Blank going to be content with continuing his same long leash ways that he has had in the past, or is he saying at this point, hey, I'm getting older. I won a championship with my second team, Atlanta United, but we all know the Falcons are his baby, his child. He would much rather see the Falcons win a championship before he dies and know that he's the man to put it together. And so do we then think that in his, I don't mean later in life as far as towards, I'm not saying Uncle Arthur's about to die, but what I am saying is, do we think that he's going to have a quicker trigger on firing coaches going forward? Not in a reactionary form, but like what Hayden's saying. Let's say what if we go 0-6?
There's a ton of pressure from your fan base, because if you lose games how we lost last week, blowing a lead, and then like just stupid mistakes this week, you're not supposed to win that game, but like you just disappoint everybody all over again after giving them hope, and like over and over and over again, then everybody's just pissed. Nobody's wanting to go to games. Like that's just how it is in Atlanta. Like we don't have to sugarcoat it.
But we haven't had fans in the stadium since 2017.
Yeah, but like to Aaron's point, I mean, hey, Arthur Blank, he's a man of great wealth. He may go the Walt Disney route, get his head frozen, then he's willing to be patient. But
wake me back up.
If that's not the case, then yeah, maybe we see a little bit more headway. But I have a question for you guys. Arthur Smith is saying that he's doing everything he's doing, even not getting Kyle Pitts very involved in the game, because he's doing everything he can to win. If you're trying to be as competitive as possible and win every game, in my opinion, there's no way that Mariota should be playing past this week as the starter.
To win.
What do you think about that?
Well, there's like a couple things I want to say about all of this, because we can save. Let's talk about the game and like what you're saying right now, and then we'll get into the Arthur Smith conversation, because I do have a lot of opinions on that, Aaron. But for the winning of the team, I don't know. It's hard for me to know, because I agree with you. If after watching this past 2 weeks, and maybe they can excuse it like, oh, we're playing hard opponents, so maybe it makes sense we lost. But I can look at both games and be like, Mariota lost us these games, both of them. For me, I know every fan does not feel that way, but me personally, I see moments where Mariota has blown us these games.
It is a tough position, but it's also that's like what makes quarterbacks like Tom Brady so good, the way they manage the game and don't make mistakes down the stretch when it matters most. So yeah, it definitely impacts it in a huge way.
And we've talked about this. I think the Falcons, if you look at the team, and even like yesterday's result, I know we lost, but if you have a different quarterback, I think you win that game.
Yeah.
Same with the Saints. I think if you have a different quarterback, you win that game. Like the crazy part is, with how it's been constructed on this budget, there's actually like the players are playing really well together. They have grit, their tenacity, they're trying to win. They don't give up. The fact that we're down 28-3. Like I thought we were about to reverse the curse yesterday. I really did. I was like, holy shit.
It wouldn't have had the same meaning either.
But it would have been symbolic.
Cool.
It would have been symbolic.
Cool.
It wouldn't. I agree.
Slightly.
I agree. Would not meant the same. But to answer your question, it depends. If they if we lose this weekend, holy crap, I don't even want to talk about that right now. But I think there's a thought process that if Art secured his job already and he's already been told he's going to be here next year, there's no really pressure to win because you get a better pick.
Okay, and one thing that I'm going to bring, I'll start it here. I want to really talk about it when we touch on Atlanta United later. But look, just because a team tells the fans, yes, and tells the coach, let's say they tell the coach and tell the fans, or just the coach even, you're going to be here next year. That does not guarantee that.
True.
Businesses say that to people all the time and then fire them anyway. And I'm not saying that they say it to be dastardly and just, hurt this person when they actually do pull the rug out from under them later and fire them. I think it's because they're saying that, given things remaining constant, you will be here next year. And then if your performance starts to decline, I don't care if I said you're going to be here next year, you're gone. Is there a chance, I want to throw this back to you guys, is there a chance that happens this year?
I'm going to say absolutely not. And I'm going to say it for several reasons. And here, I think this is fair. And tell me if I'm wrong, like, because I could be crazy thinking this way. But
yeah,
if you look at,
we know that one.
I have Dan Quinn's 6 seasons. Dan Quinn coached 6 seasons here in the Falcons. His first year he went 8-8. He inherited a good team though from Mike Smith. They had just lost the.
No, he did not inherit a good team. They were 4-12 the year that.
Yes, but he inherited Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. Like, he inherited a good cast of players. Let me just say that. Okay. They also kept the same GM. And I also think Mike Smith's coaching just got lost on the players. It can happen once you lose your locker room. Same thing happened with Dan Quinn. So 8-8, we missed playoffs. He goes to Super Bowl in year 2. The next year he goes 10-6. We make the wild card, and then he goes 7-9, 7-9, 4-12.
Yeah. If you really want, I just want to jump in there and say that of those years of Dan Quinn, and I thought it then, I didn't want it to be true. Yeah, but I know that it's true now.
Yeah,
and it's that Dan Quinn and his team caught fire for about a full calendar year. Or maybe that's not the term I'm looking for.
No, anyway, you're about right though. From a month to a
Yeah, so because of the fact that the year we went to the Super Bowl, we were, like we talked about at the end of the year, one of the best offenses of all time. But we did not start the year that way.
Our offense did.
No, the offense did, but the team as a whole, the team as a whole, I remember we go up to Seattle and lose a heartbreaker in Seattle because they didn't call pass interference on Julio Jones at the end of the game that would have put us in field goal position to win. And at that point, we were maybe only like 2 games above 500. We were like 7-5 or something like that, I think. And then I'm pretty sure we win the remaining 4 games and go 11-5 and just rattle off 6 or 7 wins straight all the way to the Super Bowl. And then a good year after that. So I think it was like about a season and a half maybe of Dan Quinn and his teams being good. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But here's the thing.
Sorry. Well, I was just gonna say they did go 5-0. We pushed through it there, Hayden. We didn't continue going around. Here. Yes, I got it. We started 5-0 his first year.
We did, and then we went on to go. We went to go
3-8 after the 5-0 start, and not even make the playoffs.
How can you forget that? Yeah,
yeah, that one should have told us a little something about Dan Quinn and collapsing, but.
And honestly, too, if you look back at it, like I question Aaron. I know this. We were both big on Dan Quinn because we had many conversations about Dan Quinn. But the more I look back at it, I want to say Kyle Shanahan had the fact that you're a defensive minded coach and you can never have
we had Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur.
Oh, I know it's unreal the amount of talent we have in offense.
It's crazy, yes.
And you have Julio Jones in his prime, Matt Ryan in his prime. Like the team was loaded. Austin Hooper had an incredible year.
Devontae Freeman was a person still at that point.
Yeah, no, but like my thing is, I think Kyle Shanahan just deserves a lot more credit than Dan Quinn because if you look back to those teams, we never had a top 10 defense, and he's a defensive coach. Like I hate that. I hate that crap.
And you also do y'all remember? Sorry, we can have a whole episode about Dan Quinn's era.
Oh, I'd love to.
So we'll wrap this up with Dan Quinn in a second. But I just think it's wild how many times throughout his 6 years here did he go, all right, I'm the defense coordinator. Okay, now I'm not. I'm going to hire Raheem Morris. All right, I'm the defense coordinator again.
I'm firing that guy because
All right,
he.
yeah, exactly. Because he's bad. I'm the defense coordinator again. And then the year after that, okay, here's a new defensive coordinator. And I'm gonna fire that guy midway through the year, and I'm it again.
It was bad.
I think I'll tie that back into Arthur Smith. So these head coaches, obviously, they need to win games, and that takes care of everything else. But if they're not doing that, they're trying to increase the longevity of their tenure.
Correct.
So Dan Quinn, by doing that, is flaking off responsibility onto other people and then taking it back, saying, "Oh, I'm going to fix it," to make him look like the hero.
He did that like 3 times.
Him and Thomas Dimitrov, though, were like buddy, keeping that together for a while.
Oh yeah, because both of them were profiting off of that.
Dimitrov was there for like 10 years.
Yes, he was there through the Mike Smith and DQ regime.
So I bring that up because if Art Smith is actually trying to be competitive, I really think that he should be playing Ritter right now, based on what we've seen for 2 weeks. And he's saying he's trying to be competitive. That's what we have to see moving forward. Not just because that was my preseason prediction, but Ritter might be better right now. And even if he's not, it's okay to make those mistakes that Mariota is making right now.
Especially given how combative he is and was in the preseason and beyond that in camp, to members of the media who would ask him about the prospects of tanking, or what do you feel like if you're in a position for a top 5 draft pick next year, he would always get so pissy and be like, well, I'm trying to beat the Saints. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm just trying to win versus the Saints.
I mean,
this ain't fantasy football. All right.
God damn.
The iPhone wasn't invented by the same guy that invented the rock, or whatever he said. And whatever that weird quote was that he had.
Coach B.
And then,
Wait, I need to clear my chest real quick. A couple things real quick. Please. One, I want to know like why y'all think Arthur Smith's such a bad coach, because and I'm asking that question because last year we go 7-10 with a bad team. It was a bad roster.
It was.
Anyone who coached last year, we're going to lose a lot of games. We went 4-12 the year before that with a team that was actually better roster wise than the team we had last year. And then this year, I actually think they've done a great job constructing a roster on a budget, but I also think his coaching has something to do with that. Like, you have a lot of players that you had last year that you developed into starters this year. Jalen Hawkins, Richie Grant, Mikael Walker, and I can go on more, but I just I get the disconnect because if we knew it was a rebuilding year anyways, we traded Matt Ryan, we're not expecting to win games this year, but we're seeing our Falcons team who would not have done this last year or the year before that with Dan Quinn actually compete against the Super Bowl champs. Like, we came back in a way that we've never done before, but instead we're butthurt that we lost, but instead we're not looking at like, wow, we actually did that though. Like, I know we didn't get the results.
It is that mentality right there that keeps us the same position we've always been in.
It is.
We might actually have a good coach for once.
Also,
and we're not giving him a chance.
All right, look, we had mirror images, and I'll say mirror because they're slightly opposite when you look in the mirror. And so, of game 1 and game 2, where we came away from game 1 thinking, wow, we were the better team that day, and we just screwed up at the end and let the team that should have lost come back and beat us. That's on us. Why can't that be true this week for the Rams? Why are we giving so much credit to Art Smith in a losing effort when in reality it was probably the Rams were the better team the entire day? And the only narrative to glean from this should be that they screwed up and took their foot off the gas and let us come back into it.
They didn't screw up though. We made plays though. We made the difference is we made plays though.
It was a special teams turnover for a touchdown. And Cooper Kupp wasn't it Cooper Kupp?
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp of all people fumbling.
That's our team trying to make plays because of coaching.
Okay, yes, but my point is we can't have the narrative that we had of we're that much better than the Saints after the week 1 loss, and then say, well, that was our players making those plays to come back against the Rams.
I want to answer the question on Arthur Smith and why that I don't like him, and honestly, I've been coming around on him more this year because I really like the offensive scheme, and I think it's getting players open and in space. Even against the Rams, that was happening, and that's why we're moving the ball. Every aspect of the team has looked better this year. There's no doubt about that. The thing that I don't like is what he says does not match up with his actions. The way he talks to the media, it does not make sense. And so it's in his self-interest to have this year be, we didn't have a quarterback year. You got to bring me back, and we got to try to do it with a new quarterback.
I don't think he's doing that, though.
It is in his self-interest to do that. Also, he's the son of a billionaire, so I don't like that either.
Yeah, but
I'll be
you
honest.
can't hold. But we don't know him though. Like I get that, and I'm normally opposed to.
I to a degree would at one point in time had said that, agreed with both of you that yes, I'll agree. Where he comes from in life gives me pause, to say it lightly, but also I would agree with you too, Blake, that yeah, I don't know him as a person. He could not be like you would imagine someone like that to be. But then he goes and spouts off those things that he said.
But that wasn't even. That was such like a low. It's a dumb narrative though. Like it was not. Here's what actually was said.
Okay.
This is important
I don't
because
think you know which
he
one
did
I'm
say
talking
something
about
caring about games being lost during the season, which kind of ties back into he's going to have his job probably.
That's not what he said either, though. That was also.
Then he's also not being competitive.
But that's the same thing as like just a media taking a 10-second clip and then putting it out there and like, well, look what he said, but you're not putting the full context though. Like when he said he didn't care, that wasn't about losing the game. It was like, I don't care what y'all write about us because we're still going to do our job and coach. We're still going to do this. Like he shouldn't have said what he said, but he wasn't talking about the loss. And like same with this, he said Kyle's a huge part of our offense. You just have to take it with context. Other guys made plays. It's not fantasy football. We're just trying to win. We'll continue to look to everything to try to get better. What he's trying to say is that every game we can't just give Kyle Pitts the ball 10 times a game. If you look at last week, Kyle Pitts had 25% target share. This week, he did not have that. He actually only had 3 targets, 2 catches. However, if you see the film,
one thing I want to jump in here with was that yes, he had a 25% target share, but we only threw the ball 28 times.
Yeah, but that's because Mariota can't throw the ball.
But what I'm saying is that yeah, your target share is going to go up. But then you go look at teams like the Jets who are letting Joe Flacco throw it 60 times a game. Like, those numbers, those target shares are going to look different when you only throw the ball 28 times. Like a college amount of times. We ran it a lot.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, but Arthur's running to our strengths, which is running the ball, not passing the ball, because Mariota's not a good passer. Like, I think that's just clear right now that he's not a good passer. The thing about yesterday is if
I hate when my quarterback is such a bad passer.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's starting.
Yeah, I could have.
I mean, y'all are so hard to.
I brought him in here because even though
they're going to give him a shot for 8 games, and then they're going to switch probably halfway through the season to give it a shot. Do I like it? No, but do I get the logic behind it? Yes. But let me just finish what I'm trying to say.
They're trying to make
what I'm trying to say. Can I just finish what I'm trying to say?
They are trying to make sure they secure a top 10 pick before they give Ritter a shot at all. If they are trying to win games,
why, though.
Every other aspect of this team,
yes,
they could compete right now for a wild card spot.
They might end up doing that. We don't know yet. It's only week 2. We don't know what's going to happen.
They got to make that decision now if they want a chance.
Well, you have some easy games coming. Can we just stick to the script and we'll get to this in a second?
No,
absolutely not.
This is free form.
Can I finish my rebuttal at least?
No. Before you do,
can I please finish talking? I didn't
quickly. 0-2 teams don't make the playoffs, Blake. To be honest with you.
Well, tell that to the Bengals.
Okay, yeah, that's a rarity right there, especially what they did after that.
Tell that to the Giants who beat the undefeated Patriots. Anyways,
all right.
Actually, one of their Super Bowl runs, I don't know which one it was. It might not have been the first one. But one of their Super Bowl runs, they started 0-2. I will be honest. But can I just finish this real quick?
Yes, finish.
Please. I don't think the narrative about Kyle Pitts comes up if Mariota underthrows him on that passing interference, which gets called, and we get 30 yards off the play because of defensive passing interference. But if Mariota throws him in stride, Pitts scores a touchdown right there.
Yeah. I mean,
my point is no one's going to bring it up if the ball's not underthrown there. Like, these are narratives that happen because of the way the game turned out.
I agree.
Also, Mariota did this, and I was talking this in the group meeting with our friends earlier. He did this in Oakland or Las Vegas, and he did this in Tennessee. Mariota's a quarterback who has an outlet guy who he throws all of his targets to, and then everyone else can get ball sporadically. And so far through 2 games, it looks like London's his guy. Like, that's just who Mariota is as a quarterback. Waller, when he started his 2 games there in Las Vegas, had like 15 targets a game. And you go over to Tennessee, it was the same thing. So, like, my point is, For some reason, Mariota just doesn't like Pitts as much as he likes London. London's his guy. I don't think a coach who threw the ball 1,000 yards to Pitts last year is going to be all of a sudden, actually, let's not throw it to our best player. Like, I don't think Art's out there coaching that up. That's asinine. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't really care about the whole Kyle Pitts thing.
But it's like my point was a dumb narrative though that all the Falcons fans like feast on, and it's like
okay, I was giving you a hard time about it, yes, but do I?
No,
feel...
Twitter though is filled with it today.
Oh, Twitter's awful.
Yeah, Twitter is not a great pulse.
We'll get into that with the Braves later.
Yeah, but I do want to say it is at least concerning. Am I saying it's all Art Smith's fault? No, but I'm also not saying it's all Mariota's fault.
I'm okay with that. I'm concerned too. He's on my fantasy team. I hate it. I hate it. That's the thing about it. I was defending it, and I hate it more than anyone. It hurts me every Sunday.
Broke the clean streak. I do want to say for the folks at home, I am absolutely fucking the shit out of Blake in fantasy.
Oh my God.
It is phenomenal. It feels so good.
It feels so good.
Shout out to all the boys in the league. This is for you guys.
He is. Let me, before we get more derailed, let me just talk about the way the game ended real quick. I call it good coaching. Our teams, because of the grit they showed, they didn't give up. They stayed in the game the whole game. Our defense made plays when it mattered. We got the interception with Walker. We had the block punt for a touchdown. And Darren Hall forces the fumble and then picks up the same fumble off of that Cooper Kupp fumble.
Right.
And then Mario throws the game away at the end. But what I want to say is this, is like last year, if you compare our first two games of the season last year, we played the Philadelphia Eagles, and I can't remember if we played game 2. But we lost our first two games last year, who were both playoff teams, with combined 49 points. We lost 32-6 to the Eagles, and then we lost, I think it was like 37-21 or something like that, to 25 to the Bucks. This year we lost our two combined games to potential playoff teams by only 5 points. Like, is this.
Didn't you say we were so good at winning like
close games? Yeah, but
year?
It was close games against bad.
Yes.
Yeah, but the teams we played against
Saints are not very good.
Well, we don't know that yet.
I think we do.
Yeah, I think we do know that the Saints are not that good.
I think the Saints have a quarterback problem just like us. But however,
he's hurt, man. Pain everywhere. Did you not hear him say it?
Yeah, dude, he is something else. I'm glad he's not our quarterback. I'd rather have Mariota, be honest.
I think he's hilarious, to be honest with you. Jameis Winston kills me.
But what I'm trying to say is last year we did win close games, but our close games we won against were the Jets.
Yeah, it was against 7 terrible teams.
Like bad teams. The only good teams, so I wrote down, we beat 2 teams with winning records last year. It was the Saints and the Dolphins, and we won those games by a combined total of 4 points. Two in each game.
While the Dolphins one was a good win, the Saints one, that was after the Saints had lost an insane amount of people.
Yeah, no,
it was not the same Saints.
It wasn't.
Team
No, it wasn't.
as their record.
I agree with that. My point is this: is last year when we played good teams, we lost 43-3 to the Cowboys. We lost 25.
I agree.
To 0 to the Patriots.
Over that.
We lost, and that's my point this year. Is like if we're already expecting to lose these games, why are we getting? Yes, it is okay to be up. Let me finish. It's okay to be upset when we lose a game, especially the way we've lost 2 games. Like it's okay to be disappointed, but to think that like Art's a bad coach or to that. I think what he's shown is we're building on things from last year.
I agree, but I'm not. But I'll explain I'll explain. Even though I agree, it's not to me a reason to not be critical of Art Smith the way that I am, because of the fact that last year those were the 3 worst losses I've ever seen as a Falcons fan. No joke.
Oh, they were horrible.
And they all 3 came in the same season under the same guy, and we just looked unprepared. We looked like we shouldn't have been a football team out there on the field. And so that's below expectation for me, even in your first year as head coach. That is below par for a first-year head coach, those performances. And yeah, some of the close games against bad teams we did pull out in the end. But what I'm getting at with the bad losses now not being bad losses but still losses is that you are now where I thought you should have been last year.
I just feel like that's not fair expectations. I get what you're saying. Okay. I just, when you look at the roster we had last year, I feel like our expectations should not have been as that high. Like I feel like they just shouldn't have been. And I don't know. I don't
feel like the expectation is high. I mean, Aaron and I are saying we said they were going to go 5-12.
5-12, yeah.
So
I know, and they've
but. It's about looking at what's happening and seeing like it should be better or it's not what it should be. And I will say I don't think it's a disappointing loss. I think it's demoralizing
Yes.
especially for the guys on the team. Like, you fought back like that, and then your quarterback doesn't get a throw off, and like, it's just poor performance. And then if they decide to keep rolling Mariota out there, how we're not going to have another comeback like that this season, because like why are they going to do that? Like, everybody's getting.
I didn't even think we were capable of that comeback, and it shows you too that the offense
and it is impressive.
It was very impressive. Yeah, it was a, and like you said earlier, Aaron, it was a full team effort to get that comeback. Like,
yes,
you did it in special teams, you did it in defense, and your offense had to at least score touchdowns still.
I'm glad you said that, but I think in a way that's slightly misleading because of the fact that it had to be a fumble. It had to be a blocked punt return for.
But you did what you had to do.
Yes, but the offense. I guess what I'm saying is, in a lot of comebacks, successful or slightly failed, but comeback attempts nonetheless, you find that it's the offense and the defense for the team that's getting the shit beat out of them, making adjustments and playing better on offense or defense or both, and coming back in the game.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case here. It was, we got some miracle plays, like the defense forcing a turnover. Yeah, that's cool.
But the block punt, yeah, it's pretty.
The block punt, you can't count on a block punt. It is cool. It's an effort play. It's a good thing to have happen. But it's not like Mariota and the offense started clicking and we started getting back.
But they did. I mean, they scored when they had to, though. They actually finished drives. But yes, I know, I agree with you.
But you see what I'm saying, though, right?
Yes, no, I 100% agree. And my thing is this: like, I know Art's the head coach, and I think he will make the call. I think Ritter will be starting. I think one of the reasons Mario's starting there right now is you paid him a good amount of money. He's not injured, and he hasn't screwed up enough to say, hear me out. I think I'm ready to bench him. If I was the coach, I'm not even playing him. But what I'm trying to say is, I could see why they continue to play him. And because we're playing the Seahawks this weekend. Like, I think Marcus Mariota can beat the Seahawks.
Maybe. The Seahawks do have a far superior quarterback.
Seahawks.
I think so too. No,
I think the reason not to play him in week 2 is because you don't want him opening up his career against the Rams.
Well, you also
that tough of a decent.
Yeah, and I
hope that's the case. I'd rather it be that than what Blake is saying.
No, I agree. And I know what I'm saying is this is, like, if you look at the Falcons schedule, I think it's pretty favorable for you to start him. Like, for me, like the October 30th against the Panthers. Like, I think that's our Thursday night game or something like that. Or whatever game is home against the Panthers. Like, you're halfway through the season. You have 9 games to go after that. Like, you do half and half. I think it's a fair way to do it, because who knows what promises they made Mariota coming into this season? Like, oh, we promise you'll start. Well,
how long of a contract is he under? A year?
It's an optional 2-year.
Yeah,
it's a 1 year, but it could be more.
It's a team option, though. Quarterback at best. I don't give a damn what he cares about. Like, I don't care about hurting Mariota's feelings.
Yes, no, I could not.
Arthur Smith is saying he is saying that he wants to be competitive. You, Blake, have been very optimistic about the aspect of the season. There's absolutely no reason to roll Mariota out there any further.
Well, I'm still undecided if I want the first pick or not.
Do you want to be a good team, or do you want the first pick?
Can you do both?
Well, no. I think I agree with Blake in a little
next year. Like next year, could we do both next year though? Like if you're already, I get what you're saying. Hey, now and here's my thing too. If we go out and win the next 2 games, because I think we could, we're playing the Seahawks and the Browns. Like I think we could be 2-2. The based on the way the team has looked, if we can play a complete game, I think we can be 2-2. The Browns looked awful this last week. They looked awful. They gave up that win of the Jets with Joe Flacco.
I completely agree with you if Mariota isn't the starting quarterback.
And you don't think Mariota could do it?
No. With the mistakes he's making, he can't get under center. He can't take a snap. He can't make a read. He has designated reads like he is a rookie quarterback still. That's why they're rolling him out. He has 2 reads.
Yeah, it looks like a freshman in high school too. It's not even an 8-year pro.
That's the reason I don't like Art right now, because that's where the disconnect is. If you're actually wanting to be competitive and win games this year, they can win games this year based on everything we've seen from the rest of the team.
I agree.
They can win. They can compete.
I don't think we're also not asking Art to come out and be honest if that is the case and just straight up say, no, we actually would like a top 5 pick. We don't expect or even want him to say that. But I'd rather him not be so combative and direct about, no, we are trying to win.
Yeah.
Instead, he could employ some coach speak, of which there's thousands of hours of film from some great coach speakers out there
Bunch
of
of
ways
losers
to
out there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, of ways to say that without saying it.
I got a good one for you. Yeah, we're still building something here, and it's a process. We got to work
Yes,
through it.
You
gotta
and
trust
that's
the
what we're doing.
process.
And
Trust the
it may
process.
not be this year, but it may be next year, or maybe the year after that. But we'll just have to see. And we got to.
It could be 2025
Blah,
actually.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I think
I'm just really proud of what we're building here. I'm proud of these guys in that locker room. Just
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
But he's not that kind of guy though. Actually, he's really combatant, like you said, and he's actually he does talk the talk that he wants to win games. And you're right. Let's put our money where the mouth
He
is.
does not walk said walk.
Because I think
Yes.
Hayden just said something that I'm surprised he said, but I think you're right. We could compete and win games this year. Like the teams
I'm very surprised about that. But every other aspect of the team, it looks like we can
looks way
compete.
better than we thought it would.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that we're all on the same page there. It sucks that we haven't won either of these last two games, but we could have. I don't know. I guess the part I am stuck on the most is I defend Art Smith so vehemently because I feel like he's gotten a bad rep since he's gotten here, and I feel like it's not all justified. Like I feel like
I will say I don't think a lot of people, including myself, gave him the fairest of starts because he was such an uninspiring hire.
right.
He was just not exciting.
I think we
at
both
all.
wanted Bellamy. Is that his name from
Bieniemy?
Bieniemy? Yeah, that's who I wanted.
Yeah.
Following.
You know
Dan
who
being
else
fired.
I mean, I didn't want him, but Nick Sirianni has done a better job.
I
granted,
like
with
the
a better
Chargers coach, the way
roster.
I just like the way he presents himself,
Oh my
his
God.
demeanor.
Yeah,
He just
absolutely.
everything he says is very like
100%.
yeah.
And
He
then-
seems like a good guy.
Even Robert Saleh in New York.
I don't think I'm sold on him
I'm a fan.
yet.
I'm a
I'm
fan.
Really?
a fan of him. I really am.
Give me some
Yeah.
of that Dan Campbell. Somebody
Yeah.
that
I like Dan
Yes.
Campbell too. But here's my
I
thing
know
is
he's sincere about it when he's saying
Oh,
he's
yeah,
doing.
exactly.
He'll bite your kneecap off,
Yeah,
boy.
he
He wants
will.
to win.
No, he will.
And I believe him when he says that because what he puts out on the field makes me believe it.
I think Art's just bad at talking to people. I don't know. He's a
I
weird.
wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Son of a billionaire talks down to media and makes people not like him. Oh no, poor
I-
guy.
I'm not.
That's
I'm
never
not
happened
saying.
before.
I'm not saying poor guy. I'm just saying. I like the
I'm
guy.
just saying
I
that's
do.
another way that while we don't know him personally, that's another part about him that Hayden brings up that makes me think that he is exactly who we think he is.
Yeah, I think more he's just defensive because since he's gotten here, he's
Because everything in life has gone right for him so far.
Yeah, and now he's
and
facing
now
a
it's
slight
not.
bit of
and maybe
adversity.
that's it though. Maybe this is his character development. He has that the
man.
plot armor's not
Man.
protecting
He's
him through
hitting
this
it pretty
part.
late.
Well, this isn't a book I want to read. I want to.
Hey, it happens to everybody. One last thing before we move on from the
Well, I was
Falcons.
gonna say, are we just gonna do an entire Falcons episode? We could.
could.
Dude, basically has. We might
Yeah.
do like 5 minutes on the
Yeah,
Braves.
We could.
Yeah, same. And when there's not much to talk about with UGA.
Well, if we're gonna keep talking about the Falcons, real quick, something I thought was really important from this game was so every Monday they do the Monday overreaction for Falcons games, and one thing that Aaron Freeman, who he does the Locked On Falcons podcast, he's also not a big fan of Art Smith, but he likes Ritter and he likes the direction the team's going in this year. He said every Monday is an overreaction Monday, but probably not in this instance. I too have been impressed with the play of the Falcons O-line. They're not elite, but somewhere beyond serviceable, which is a huge improvement from last year. I like to also agree with that. Like the fact that the Rams only got 3 sacks on us, we've only got and 0 on the Saints, and we actually got a sack this last game. I know it wasn't 4 like the week before, but we got a sack. That's 5 sacks in our first. We're out sacking the opponents right now 5-3, which is pretty impressive as a Falcons fan. I don't know if
That's
we keep
another
that
thing
up.
too. That when I see exciting things like that, all of that credit in my mind goes to Dean Pease and none of it to Art Smith.
Oh, the defense.
Yeah, the defensive stuff.
Yeah, I get that. But Dean Pease came out of retirement for Art Smith.
He did. Now that's like
Like,
the one feather in his
it's-
cap he's got for me.
Like that's the coolest thing he's ever done. Yes, no, I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
Before we move on, though, I just want to address I think the Kyle Pitts thing is kind of a low hanging fruit narrative. I hate it. I don't know why Falcons fans are doing it. I don't like the Falcons fans last week mad that we didn't go for a 4th down, and this week they're mad that we did go on 4th down. Make up your mind. You're either mad or not. And I really hate the Falcons fans who before the season, Falcons are going to suck. I did their quotes. Tank for Young or Stroud, tank for Anderson or Jalen Carter, worst roster in the NFL. And it goes on for a while. And now we've looked good. I know we lost both games, but we looked good in both of them. And they're like more mad about that. And it's like,
Well, okay,
before
but
the season, you said we sucked. Like
I would disagree with you there because people are allowed to change their minds when new information comes available. And that's kind of what Hayden and I have been saying, which is that, Hayden literally said it we predicted them to go 5-12. And now we're mad kind of in that same fashion, but it's because they've shown us they can be more and they're still not.
It's honestly, it's like they're a combination right now of what each of our sides of our prediction was for their season. Because Blake was pretty ambitious about it and saying that they were going to be.
I said we'd be competitive. I didn't know.
And that's correct.
No. On the podcast, I said we'd win 7 games.
Okay, true.
Okay,
but you
I
did.
But
in a group chat.
I said
say,
I could see us. I said I could
8.
see us if everything goes right, winning 9 games, and it looks like they could win 9 games. If everything
Stop that.
That's not far fetched.
What were you gonna say?
I was just saying it's a combination of our predictions for the year because they have been competitive and better than what we've expected.
Yeah.
But they're still a losing team. And that's something that it can actively be changed like that. Like it can change this week if we make a change at the leadership position on the field at quarterback and we cut either you're getting experience for a rookie quarterback and he makes those same mistakes and I'm okay with it and I can live with it.
Yeah.
Or he's actually a better quarterback and he makes the team more competitive.
Better. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. I think I will say this though. I think Mariota will start again, and I think we beat the Seahawks even with Mariota. But I agree with you, Hayden. I was yelling all day Sunday, put Ritter in. Like I've seen enough to know that Mariota 19 on the game they want Ritter as well, but I've heard the defense that Ritter hasn't started in 3 years, so like he's shaking off the rust. I don't see that as a reason to let a guy. They're saying because he hasn't started. Yeah, he hasn't started in 3 years, like 2019.
Mariota. Who are you talking about?
Sorry, Mariota.
Oh, I could have sworn you said Ritter.
Sorry, Mariota.
I
did say Ritter.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he was a 4-year starter.
No, you're right.
Cincinnati.
I meant Mariota. He hasn't started in 3 years, so they're saying he's shaking off the rust. But like, my thing is like, is that rust or is he just that? Like, that's who he is. Like, we're seeing who he is.
He's a fantastic backup quarterback to have on your team.
Yes. He'd be a great backup. Yeah.
And that's exactly what he needs to be for the rest of his contract with the Falcons.
Correct.
But let's say this: Seahawks, I think we can win. Browns, I think we could win that game.
Is it Seahawks at home or Seahawks on the road?
On the road, but they look awful.
We're gonna lose.
Yeah.
You think we will?
Yes. Why did your jaw drop so far when he said that?
Because they look awful.
Geno Smith is going to outplay Marcus Mariota
at
home.
He's a better quarterback.
Right, hold up.
Oh my God. Hold up. He had a perfect QBR versus the Broncos.
Yeah, but I think the Falcons are better. I think the Falcons are a better team than the Seahawks. I'm not talking about quarterback. I just think the Falcons are a better team.
Yeah, they're better coached though, and I mean,
yeah, they are.
They've made their own mistakes in the Super Bowl as well.
Pete Carroll's got a Super Bowl ring though, so he don't really care. But point is, I actually do think we can beat the Seahawks. I think we go in. I think we beat Seattle, and I think we beat them by more than one possession.
Speaking of Pete Carroll, did you guys know he's one of only like 3 coaches to win a college national championship and a Super Bowl?
I didn't know. I knew he did both. I didn't know he was one of.
It's wild. The dude just wins. He's good. But anyway,
he wins.
Not that that's not a hot take.
And he also something we didn't address this last week though, but he beat Russ too in the way that Russ didn't want to play.
Okay. I have to address this because I was talking about how the Broncos were going to be good this year, and they still could be. So in that game, the Seahawks versus Broncos, the Broncos fumbled twice on the goal line.
Yes.
So that's not on Russ. Now, then there was also questionable coaching decisions on kicking a NFL record field goal for the win.
That one
after letting the clock go down.
Everything
about that was so weird.
Dude, I thought I was having a stroke.
I was quite unaware of how poor Nathaniel Hackett's strategy was. So I was not aware of the head coach there. But I still think the Broncos will find something on offense. But
what was their coach before that? Vic Fangio? Why did they fire him? I still don't get it.
Just because he's a great defensive coach, and like I don't think that they should have fired him. But I will say that did you guys see the stat that they last year were the first team, I think since 1993 to have a top 3 defense and not make the playoffs.
Yeah, but the ironic part was after they fired him, they're like, "All right, let's go get a quarterback now." Like that was what they were missing last year too, was a quarterback.
That he's got to be like, God damn it. Are
Yeah, he's
you
like, we had the
kidding me?
greatest defense, and
Yeah.
you get Russell
You
after
get
I
Russ
leave.
now. I swear there might be some sort of Vic Fangio might have had some bad blood with somebody, because that's just the biggest middle finger I've maybe ever seen a team put to a coach.
I would have to
100%.
imagine the Broncos fans right now were wishing he was back, because they're doing things. They're taking delay of game penalties and like crazy stuff that just you
First-year
don't
coach.
ever see happen. Broncos fans at home were booing like almost every possession. They were counting down the play clock so that way they would know that he needs to call a timeout on every play.
That is
And I
hilarious,
don't
and he
blame- I don't
deserves
blame
every
him.
bit of it.
No,
That's
no, he does
crazy.
deserve it. And I still think they didn't
Deserves every
win
bit
like
of it.
in a good fashion either. They still had not a good win.
Oh yeah, it was sloppy, but
Yeah.
And maybe
anyways.
next week. Sorry, the Falcons went a little long today. Maybe next week, hopefully, we talk about a win, and then we can maybe look around the league and see what teams have done what we thought, and you know what I mean.
Well,
Like,
yes. I was going to
Maybe.
say let's touch on the Braves real quick so we can touch on Georgia and
Okay.
then get this thing wrapped up.
Let's touch these Braves. All right,
Yes.
so we'll keep it relatively quick and just kind of some hot topics as we came through the week here. The Braves swept the Phillies here through the weekend. We're still one game back of the Mets,
Wow.
so we're in a prime position, exactly where we need to be going into that last series. So honestly, that would be really exciting. I think if it's all coming down to that last
oh,
series
I'd love
with the
it.
Mets.
We
That
also
would be
have
dope.
two more. We actually have two more games than they do too. I saw.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
that's
know
the
if
thing.
that's true or not.
Oh, is it not?
oh, is it not?
I think I might have pulled the Mets schedule wrong, like it cut off or something like
No,
that.
no, no.
Uh,
I saw another person posted on Twitter today that we have two more games than they do. Like we have the
Well,
same
isn't
amount
it-
of
Games left. Okay.
left. Yeah, games
Isn't
left.
it also that we play the Marlins after? Like their last series is us, but we play
No,
the
they still
Marlins after
have.
that?
They play the national.
Oh, they do play
I
somebody.
think
Yeah,
that's the
that-
part that I messed
that
up.
was
Yeah,
the
with.
part.
that was okay.
But if you look at we're 91 and 55, and they're 93 and 55. So they've played two more games than us.
Yeah,
So
Yep, we can still
Yeah.
make up some ground there as well. But we're exactly where we
games
need
in
to be.
hand, as the Brits say.
Mm.
As
hey, I
it
saw
were.
Andrew
A
Yang
game in
tweeted
hand
out.
is worth two in the bush.
Oh,
For any
boy.
people who were in politics, Andrew Yang tweeted out over the weekend that his son said, "Did the Mets win?" And he said, "Yes." And he goes, "Did the Braves lose?" And he goes, "Nope." Like every Mets fan everywhere,
No.
just like nope. The Braves just keep matching us everywhere.
All the
everywhere we
Braves
go.
do is win.
All they do is win.
I love that clip so
Me
much.
too.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the hot topics that came through the past week though, Strider broke the record for fewest innings to reach 200 strikeouts in a season.
Randy
The
Johnson's
rookie.
record, right?
Yes, it was
Yes.
prime
God,
Randy
That is
Randy
awesome.
Johnson,
Yes.
which is
he is a
insane because
rookie.
he's like
Yes.
he's a Hall of Famer, and I think he's probably won multiple Cy Youngs.
Oh yeah.
I think I also saw, what was it? It was either Grant Wall or David O'Brien on Twitter that tweeted out. It was like I guess because he included the entirety of the franchise's history throughout the towns, but he was like, for the first time in 132 years, a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves or a rookie has hit the 200K mark or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's
hilarious.
incredible how good he is.
Yeah.
I mean that.
gives us a great competitive edge going into the playoffs too. As our number 2 starter, he has to be.
Oh, yeah.
I think that takes a little bit of the rookie. I don't know that it bothers him at all, but I would start Max game 1 of these series just because he's experienced and he's a World Series champion.
Oh,
Do you think they start Strider over Kyle Wright with the season he's
Yeah.
having?
Yeah, I
yes.
Just because the way it's unfolding?
do. I think the way it's gone, and no fault of Kyle's for the
Oh, no.
most part.
Right.
It's just all what Strider has made himself become.
Dude, and he said the coolest thing afterwards too. He was like, "Yeah, I mean it's cool, but I would have lost some of those strikeouts if I could have got another inning and get the win." Like I was like, "That's so
Yeah.
cool!" Like
It
he
is.
did it. Like of course,
All-
I mean he probably did want it. Because...
Did you guys see him clowning Michael Harris? I can't remember when I saw it on TikTok, and TikTok's algorithm is strange, so I'm not sure if this was a recent comment,
Right.
but it was a post-game interview of Spencer Strider, and apparently it was one game, and I don't remember it being recently. So you guys, I didn't watch any of the Phillies games though, so y'all correct me if it was recent. But it was when Michael Harris almost stole a home run,
Yeah.
but didn't. Was
Yeah.
that recent?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Okay, that was
yeah,
yesterday.
That was when he pitched
Okay, so then
yesterday,
it was
yeah,
the
or-
Spencer
yeah.
Strider interview after that game, and he was like, "Well, it was a good effort from Mike, but let's just say that I've stolen a few in BP myself." He's like, so the kid's got some work to do, but he'll get there. He'll get there. I thought it was hilarious.
Do you think Strider wins Rookie of the Year now? Like he passes Michael Harris because of this, or they do co? Do you think this is like
I think they have to do co now.
I mean, yeah, it's so hard to say. Michael Harris is like literally one of the best players on our team, maybe the best hitter on our team
right now. Yeah, right now
yes.
he might be.
Which is crazy, and like this has to just piss off like other fans,
Mets
like the Mets and Phillies, especially the Phillies.
Funny.
Like Phillies only acquire free agents. They have a really hard time developing talent, and then like we just like we're supposed to have one of the worst farm systems in baseball this year, and we just bring guys up from Double-A, and they're just rookies of the year immediately.
Yeah. And also, did you guys how satisfying was that moment? I think it was yesterday's win, when we were up 4-1, and Dylan Lee was in the game, and they had the bases loaded, with 2 outs, and who steps up to bat? None other than Bryce Harper.
Oh God,
and
yes.
like you could just feel that this is why we're paying you whatever. What was it? What was his contract? Like 300 something million over 13 years
I'll
or
look
something.
it up.
Yeah, I think it was like 30 million.
Anyway,
years.
that's why these moments like this are why they're paying you that money.
Yeah, 330 million.
Okay, and I will say he did get good contact, but he hit it right to Ronald Acuna. and that was the end of that inning. That and it was basically the end of the ball game there too. So
Feels good though. Every time he does bad, I love to see it.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I do think co-rookie of the year is merited, but this is like legendary status, beating Randy Johnson's record for strikeouts.
Dude, it's insane. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it, but I still don't think that's enough.
It's not enough. No, this is a all-time history record that he did as a rookie.
It's crazy.
And Yu Darvish was the last rookie to do 200 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
how many innings though?
It doesn't even matter. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it could matter, but it doesn't matter when you look at Spencer Strider beating Randy Johnson's record. Like it's nuts.
Insane.
And the cool part was he only beat it too by 2/3 an inning.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, really?
close.
I did not know that.
130
also, I'm curious
pitched.
about when Yu Darvish was a rookie too, because he probably came from.
I think it's 2012 or 2009.
Yeah. So, but he wasn't as young as what Strider
That's a
is
good
now.
point.
No,
He
because he
was
played
big in
in Japan for years.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So, I mean, as young as Strider is, it's really impressive, and hopefully, all goes well and we stay healthy going through the postseason.
What about? Oh, sorry.
What's up?
No, you go first.
I was going to transition if that's all right.
Oh, no. Before we transition away from baseball, Aaron Judge, what a bet on yourself season. Is he doing PEDs?
Our future left fielder. Yeah.
Is he doing?
He's like 6'7", 300 pounds.
So he's just a monster.
It's crazy.
He's huge, and the stadium is tiny. Like, obviously, he's hitting the ball well, but like, I
actually
good on him.
I played a game on MLB The Show the other day against the Yankees, and I kid you not, because I do the view where it's like from the catcher's perspective, even when I'm pitching. And so Aaron Judge came up to bat, and you literally, the top of his head was off of the screen. You couldn't even see his full body on MLB The Show.
Yeah.
From that camera angle. It was
Did you know
crazy.
He leads all of MLB in 9 different offensive categories? 9.
Good God.
Extra base hits with 84. OPS with 1.120. Runs with 122. Home runs with 59.
God.
RBI is 127. OBP 419. Slugging 701. Total bases 368. And his WAR is a 10.4.
That's what you love to see from a future Atlanta Brave.
Yes,
you really do.
Although I don't know if we can afford that anymore.
Yeah, true. But okay, I do want to tell you guys,
I went back $50 million a year.
I went back and looked it up. Yu Darvish had 221 strikeouts his rookie year in 191 and a third innings.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah,
he did it in like 50 innings less.
Yes.
Damn.
At this point, obviously,
he'll get more. Right? Yeah, he'll get more.
But still though, he's going to clear that by a lot.
Oh yeah. And so I wanted to talk about our struggling sluggers a little bit. Matt Olson and Austin
we're
Riley.
still talking baseball. Okay.
Yeah. No. I was just transitioning.
I see now.
To a different Braves topic. So everybody's freaking out. It's like Twitter's not a super reliable place to go.
No.
I like to use it for news and like sources like that.
Yes.
But, like, good Lord, if you follow the wrong people, something's on fire all the time. The Braves are winning a ton of games right now. Same thing with the closer situation. Everybody's freaking out about what's going on with Kenley Jansen and Snit. Like, he coaches 160 games a year, and he's like, we're just gonna keep going with our guys because that is a shit ton of games.
Yes.
So, I mean, the same thing with Matt Olson, Austin Riley. They're struggling right now, and we're still winning games. It speaks to the strength of our lineup that we're able to do that, and our best hitters don't have to be performing for us to still win. But baseball is a game of you're being streaky. Like, these guys can't go 2 for 4 every single day. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I'm okay with them struggling right now and working through it, and then guess what, guys? It's going to time out right at the end of the season, and they're going to be red hot against the Mets, and they're going to get hot going into the playoffs, and then they might be the guys that carry us through the first couple rounds of the playoffs. That's just
Would you believe that's timing out while you speak? Matt Olson hit a double to snap an 0 for 22 streak, and we're up 3-0. Harris hit an RBI single to bring him home, but
hell yeah.
I mean, there it is, guys. So speaking it into existence over here on Blurst. But yeah, I mean, you just got to be patient, especially with the guys that are your superstars. So same thing with Ronald Acuna Jr. earlier this year. Everybody's freaking out. We're only going to do as good as our star players do. That's how it is.
Something we haven't talked about, though, is Albies getting hurt again.
Oh, that was
I know. That's so sad. He might be back, though, for postseason, I saw.
Yeah, it's a fractured pinky. Is
on his throwing hand.
Was his second game back. In his first game, too, he looked so explosive already. And Grissom's been kind of struggling a little bit, so it was like nice to have Albies come back in.
I mean, he's a good clubhouse guy, too, so hopefully he's hanging around while he's doing his rehab and stuff, keeping the guys up. Because, honestly, I think that's a huge role that he has along with Dansby, our middle infielders, keeping everybody on the same page.
For sure.
Yep.
It sucks to see Ozzy down again. And special fuck you to that one Mets announcer that said something a little bit cruel right after that happened. So
what? I didn't hear that. I'm please tell me. I didn't know. All right, I didn't see anything about that.
It was something along the lines of in the news tonight, like while the game's going on for the Mets, Ozzy Albies back on the disabled list after hurting his pinky. Good to see you, Ozzy, or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. In that tone too.
Yeah.
I just thought.
Any idea who that?
Oh, it trended on Twitter too. One fan stated, "Lost all respect for the broadcaster out of his out-of-pocket comment."
Anyway, any idea who that is? I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
What's his address?
I just want to shoot him.
Yeah, it was infuriating to hear. Just because, obviously we hate the Mets, but I want to beat them at their best with all their best players just to make it even
Cohen.
sweeter.
His name's Cohen. Oh, and the other announcer was like, "No, you hate to hear that." And he's like, "Nice having you back." Even comments about how he's been out for 3 months. And the Mets are so lucky that we haven't had a full team. Like, God, I can't wait. I cannot wait for playoffs and for them to.
Oh yeah.
For them to Met.
Oh, wow. That was a good impression there, Blake. That was nice.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go as a Met this year for Halloween, so I've been practicing.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So that's all that's been going on in the Braves regard. Let's finish strong here with UGA.
Okay, so
a winning football team.
Yeah, let me let's see. I do also want to talk a bit about United. Should we do that first, then UGA?
Yeah.
All right. So United has actually been. I do want to clarify something. On last week's episode, I said that they were mathematically out of the playoffs, and I was wrong. They weren't. They did, however, do something that no one thought they would do, and that's that they rattled off 2 straight wins and a draw against 3 really, really, really good teams, and pulled themselves back up into playoff contention. Getting a draw against Philadelphia, however, wasn't what we needed. It was impressive, but it was also still in the same fashion something that we'd been seeing all year, which was what? Close calls, but not actually putting the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. Now, we did so much better defensively. It might have been the best 90 minutes of defense we played all season, and I mean that, especially given the fact that we were playing a team that had scored, you ready for this? 31 goals in their last 9 games.
31?
31 over their last 9. So a little over, over 3 goals per game for Philadelphia, and we held them to 0.
Something
But
that
we also didn't allow a single shot on goal, I believe.
That's incredible. Something that
Yeah.
the Five Stripes haven't done much this year, which we've done in years past, like especially the year we won the championship, where it's clean sheets. We've had like no clean sheets this year. Like,
Yeah.
I know we've had 2 this past week with if you count Orlando and then Philadelphia.
But what's the can we think of a reason why? What's the common denominator between those two
I mean
wins?
our
A change in keeper, the guy that you and I, Blake, have been screaming for ever since he got here in Atlanta, Godinho, and we finally let him start 2 games, and they're against 2 really good opponents in Orlando and Philadelphia. And what do? We beat Orlando 1-0, and we tie Philadelphia 0-0.
What's the deal there? Like, why do we wait so long? It makes 0 sense.
Gonzalo Pineda said that it was because he preferred a sweeper keeper type of person, someone who's good with their feet with the ball at keeper, and that Godinho wasn't as good at that as Rocos Rio Novos was. And I don't know if that is or isn't true. What I do know is that he's better at keeping balls out of the net than Rocos Rios Novo was.
That's the first priority, I imagine.
That one should be the first priority.
Yeah.
So
also, when Juan Parada is your center back and he's playing a great sweeper kind of role,
you don't need the keeper to do that.
Yeah, and you also before that you had Miles
point.
Robinson as well. Like you have stud center defenders. Yeah. Like
we don't have Miles Robinson.
Right, not anymore. But earlier in the season,
as far as the makeup of the team,
the makeup of your team, like your team has that already.
I mean, yes, I'm not. Yes, and I will say I won't hold that against him just because Miles went down before Brad, but.
True.
But yeah, but still, but you're right as far as going forward. So I think it's ridiculous that had to take so long to happen. But we are technically still in it. We have how many more games left?
Is
it 2? Is it 2?
I think it's just New England and New York.
Yep, you're right. And no, I thought we played Columbus.
I don't see that on my Google search.
I don't see that on my Google.
Did you try Bing?
That's what Aaron's trying right now, probably.
No, I told you I got back on Chrome. Damn it. That is good though. I applaud that. What is this schedule makeup? I am on Google, and its schedule was.
I'm on MLS's website right now checking. Hold up, I'll tell you.
Okay,
I'll let you know.
I could have sworn we played.
Yeah, no, it's 2. New England and then New York City.
Okay. So we played 2
we have a week
games.
off.
Okay, that's what it is then.
Yeah.
So we played 2 more games, and
we're off the tournament weekend.
We are only 2 points away from the playoff line. But we do need a bit of magic because we have played 1 more game than the 4 teams in front of us in the standings.
Oh.
Yeah. So they all 4 because we're 9th. So from 8 to 5, they all have 3 more games left, and we only have 2.
So they need to lose.
Yeah, and also the team below us in the standings has a game in hand on us as well. So between 10 through 5, they've all played 31 games, and here we are in 9th, having played 32. So we need Charlotte to lose, we need Columbus to lose, we need Inter Miami to lose, we need Cincinnati to lose. Well, okay, really just the first 3 I said. We need Inter Miami, Columbus, and Charlotte all to lose.
Also, both teams we play against are also still in the playoff hunt. Yeah, I would say both teams we play against are still in New England, in the playoff hunt.
Well, but New England has the same amount of games played as us. So that's why I'm really more concerned about Charlotte, Columbus, and Inter Miami because we play New England.
We play New England, right? You got to win
so that one we can control. The other ones we can't control.
Yep.
So we got to have some stuff happen. But yeah, technically they could still get in the playoffs. So they have been playing a lot better.
So we could technically get up to 46 points.
Yeah, correct.
So we can't go any higher than 5th if everyone else stayed the same way, which
technically, yeah. If
everyone
Orlando
else lost
City,
every
Cincinnati,
game.
Inter Miami, Columbus, Charlotte, and New England all lost out
2 to 3 games.
Yeah, all lost their next 2 to 3 games. Yes, we would be the 5th seed in the playoffs.
Oh, it's not a good look. That's hard. That's tough.
It's not. But I do think Inter Miami and Cincinnati can do some losing for us.
Well, it's also, I feel like Miami and Orlando both have negative goal differentials too, which is so surprising.
Miami blows my mind. Orlando makes a little more sense because they play good defense, but Miami, I don't understand it. They may
not make the playoffs still.
Hey, Blake and I know are looking at it, but Inter Miami is the last. They're the team we're really trying to get to.
Mhm.
The other, Orlando and Cincinnati, whatever. We don't need to be thinking about being 5th or 6th seed. We
You
need
just
to
take
think about
75 south. I'm pretty sure you'll get there.
yes. So they have a negative 11 goal differential. They have scored 41 and have allowed 52. So yeah, it's Atlanta has scored more goals and allowed less than them all year. So yeah, it's a little tough to see there that they're up there in 7th, but you get the right results at the right time, and that's what happens.
Yeah, if you turn some of those ties into wins, if you're Atlanta United,
yeah, because
you're up there.
That's why it happened, because we have 12 losses and 10 draws. They have 13 losses, but only 6 draws.
They have more wins. Yeah.
Yes,
They hate
have more
drawing.
wins. They don't
They
like it.
hate
The
drawing.
folks down in Miami, they don't like coloring. All right,
Just
so
cocaine.
wow, yeah, that's fair. All right, so we can move on from United unless you guys have anything else, and we can talk about the dim dogs
Dog it.
real quick.
Damn dogs.
Yeah,
On it.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're almost right about the dogs. You said that we weren't gonna give up a touchdown, and we almost didn't give up a touchdown the whole
and
game.
I maintain that I was still pretty much right, because I didn't expect them to put in the fucking walk-ons on defense. So
Yes.
I mean, they weren't just 3rd and 4th string. We put some non-scholarship athletes out there on defense against
Ooh,
South Carolina.
love it.
Carson Beck was playing, I think, early in the fourth.
Okay. I think it was the 3rd, wasn't it?
It was the 3rd.
It was like
He
5
was
minutes
the
left in the
3rd.
3rd, and they put in Carson Beck. Yeah.
Wait, who's our other backup?
Brock Grander.
That's what I meant. Brock Vandergrift.
He
was playing
got
the
in. Yeah.
fourth.
So we played 3 quarterbacks.
Sorry. Yeah.
I do want to say this. I'll take back the non-scholarship athlete thing, because I forgot it was a road game, and I don't think non-scholarship athletes go on road games unless they're part of the.
Still, it was
travel
second. It was second and third string
They're part of the
defense,
travel
because
squad.
Kirby got asked after the game. He goes, "Are you disappointed that your defense gave, or do you think the starters don't be disappointed that y'all gave up a touchdown this year?" And he goes, "Well, the starters still haven't given up a touchdown this year,
Right.
so they're not upset about it."
I want to hearken, given that the starters have yet to allow a touchdown and only allowed 3 points altogether, is that back after the Oregon game, do you guys remember we just beat them 49-3, and Coach Smart, the sideline reporter was like, "So what are your takeaways from today's game? Coach, are you happy about that victory?" And he's like, "This defense has a lot of work to do." And I loved it, and I just think it's funny that he said that, and we've three weeks in yet to give up a touchdown at all.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
It is so cool. So let's ask. I want to ask you guys both this, and that's that we are 3 weeks through now.
Yes.
How? Hey, you typing a novel over there?
He's writing
Oh,
a
shoot.
love
I thought I was
story.
muted.
You were not. Yeah, but anyway, it's like an old school typewriter. But anyway, all right. No, I was just gonna say that. Where are we on the season versus expectations?
So how I feel is we're better than I thought we would be, and not that I thought we were going to lose any of these games, because we talked about we picked the whole schedule. We said we're going to go undefeated. It's the fact that, like you said, we have only given up 10 points so far.
Right, it's crazy.
Unbelievable. Just so for everyone else knows, Hayden had to leave us before we end this segment. So if you only hear me and Aaron talking, that's why.
Yeah,
it's
sense.
not because we've overthrown him.
Yeah,
and now it's our podcast.
We haven't usurped him quite yet.
We're working on that. He
But-
might hear this.
No. Go on with what you were saying, though, Blake.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, we went through the whole schedule. We said we'd win every game, and we felt pretty good about it. I
And
can't
we
believe we've only
struggled
given
to
up 10
find.
Yeah, we struggled to find a loss.
We struggled to find losses, and like not from a purely optimistic standpoint, like you with the Falcons.
No,
It was the opposite. It was like we were like, okay, but what if this goes wrong?
We're
And,
so used to it.
And not only are we used to it, but it just shows you how impressive it is what Kirby Smart's done with this program since taking over. How it is literally,
it's the culture change.
It's the culture has completely changed,
Yes.
and it's like how, I think it's clear we don't have any sort of championship hangover.
No.
And what I kind of wanted to get into is, are we better? Are we a better team than the team that won the national championship last year? I mean, think about it. I get it. It's a small sample size, and the sample size hasn't been that, of the teams we've played. But look at it this way. South Carolina played a top 10 opponent last week in Arkansas, and They didn't.
They
They
put up
didn't-
points though.
It wasn't
They competed.
close,
Right.
but it
Yeah.
was. I think they only beat them by like 16.
Yeah.
I think it was 36-20. And
Yeah.
so it was competitive. And then
Anything could have happened where the game could have
Yes.
got back into South Carolina. So, yes.
and then you go look at Oregon being lights out after in their last 2 games and beating the 12th ranked team in BYU
handedly.
not just. I
Yes.
mean, so how do we go about that? Do we say that okay? Does this mean that Oregon's not actually that good, but that BYU's definitely not where we thought they were? Is that what that means?
No.
And I don't think that's
Yeah.
the case either. I think that means that Oregon actually deserved their ranking or somewhere around their ranking
Right.
to start the season, and that Georgia's just that good.
I think there's a couple of things to look at. I think one, it shows if you're outside of the SEC, you don't really matter in football. I'm sorry. Like, I mean,
Especially the
Ohio State
Pac-12.
does. Ohio State kind of does.
And the big
Michigan.
you gotta think about
Yeah.
Michigan. The Big Ten
And
is the next best thing.
Yes. And then
in college
Oklahoma
football.
every now and then can do some things. But
Yeah.
my point is outside of SEC, and yes, I'll give the Big Ten credit. And Big Ten,
They're a good conference.
They're good conferences. Like these are good conferences, and within their conference, they're competitive. But when you're playing the big boys, like they're not as good. So I'm not discounting Oregon at all. I think they were finally ranked. I'm just think that the SEC is that much better.
They
and to
are.
mention what you're saying, I don't know if this year's dogs are better completely than last year's dogs, but offensively, we are better.
Much better.
I think we score on last year's. I think our offense is pretty comparable to Alabama's offense last year. I know
can
Alabama
see
has
that.
probably better receivers, but we have better tight ends. So like,
Yeah,
I
oh,
think
yeah.
it's like
we have better receiving threats, I think, overall with what we're trying to do.
a
And
total
just
package.
Todd Monken is on fucking fire.
Yeah, he
with his
reminds me of
play
Lane
calling.
Kiffin. When Lane Kiffin was the offensive coordinator for Alabama, and he
Yes.
would do this before the touchdown
Uh-huh.
would be thrown. Like that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like we
I
had that
totally
much
agree.
firepower in the OC room. So
I
yeah, to
totally
answer your
agree.
question, I think offensively we're a better team. Defensively, I don't think we've dropped off much. Like
Yeah.
I can't argue we're better when we had 5 players go in the first round last year and we had a historical defense. But hell,
But you haven't
looking at the schedule
you've done
right
the same
now-
thing they were
I'll
doing.
say, looking at the schedule right now, you may do the same thing again. I mean, I think the Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky are the 3 games where something could happen. Florida not as much as Kentucky or Tennessee, but that's the true
Yeah.
test. How many points does Kentucky or Tennessee put on us?
Right.
I don't know,
I
but
do think we have the benefit of playing Tennessee at home now this year.
true.
So
Helps
that's
us.
good. I think we're back away at Kentucky though.
We are, but I don't know if that hurts us as bad as like playing in Tennessee would hurt
Oh,
us.
oh, totally agree.
Yeah.
I have zero respect for Kroger Field up there in
Yeah.
Kentucky. It really is Kroger Field, by the way. If you don't
Right.
know
That's super cool. I didn't know that.
But no, it's just not a tough environment at all. Never has been. But
Something I don't know if you remember this, but 2 or 3 years ago, might have been 3 or 4 years ago, Kirby Smart's coach. It's before COVID, so probably fall 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
We lost to South Carolina. I can't remember if it was 2019 or 2018, but it was early in Kirby's career. And I was like, man,
I think it was his first year. The year
maybe
we were
27.
not.
No.
I think it was. I think it was the year we went 8-5. We lose at South Carolina. I think because Jacob Eason didn't play well or something like that.
I thought maybe it's happened twice.
Or I could be wrong. I remember that game was tough.
I'm not 100% sure when it happened, but I do know that we've lost to South Carolina under Kirby Smart. And when that happened, I thought for a second that no, it's 2019. Yeah. So October 12th, 2019, we lost 20-17. We're number 4 ranked UGA, lost to South Carolina 20-17.
Oh, yeah. That was the day
Yeah.
Frank got married.
Yes. Yes.
I remember watching that at Frank's wedding.
Yeah. So we lose. And I think we were the home team too, which is the worst part about it. We lost in overtime.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I remember thinking, wow, is Kirby Smart another Mark Richt? Like, are we going to lose these games? We like
because
one game.
We also had that LSU loss the year we went to the championship.
Yes.
Remember that? It was like midway through the season we lost bad to LSU after we were ranked number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that is still the year though. I think we came back and went to the
championship. Yes, I think it was 2018 when that happened. I think
2018. This is the year before what you're talking about.
Right. So 2018. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that this might be another repeat. Yeah, 36-16. You're right. 2018. Yeah. That another repeat of Mark Richt, but no, like Kirby since now last year's team going into this year's team has done the whole Alabama effect. Like you win the championship and you come back next year and you're better than the year before. You are better. And one reason why is because a lot of these players, and you've mentioned this a lot, played last year. They got
Yeah.
playing time,
Especially on
these
the
players
defense.
Yes, especially on the defense. They got playing time, and Kirby's
Yes.
doing it again this year. So he's feeding his own machine right now. And now I think he's going to even get even better offensive recruits because of how the offense is doing this year.
Yeah.
I just don't see it being stopped.
Totally agree.
And I think Georgia's the best team in the country. I know coming into the year, Alabama was said to be the best team.
Yep.
I don't think so.
I think it's tough to say otherwise so far against. I know Alabama came back against UL Monroe and put 60 on them and did to them what we did to South Carolina. But also, I think South Carolina beats UL Monroe.
Oh,
and
yes.
And look no further than what they almost had happened to them against Texas. I mean,
Right.
I don't think you can look at Alabama and their games and then look at us and think that Alabama's better.
No, I think they could beat us. Like, I think they're close enough. Like,
I think they're the only team maybe that is close enough to beat us from what I'm seeing. Maybe Ohio State.
Maybe Ohio State. Michigan hasn't played anyone, but they've beaten they've beaten every team they played though by a ton.
Yeah. They beat UConn 59-0, which would have meant something 10 years ago, but UConn is essentially a Division II school right now, talent-wise.
Football-wise, yes, yeah. No, so I know I 100% agree with you. So my big thing is who beats us this year. I don't know if anyone on our schedule beats us this year. I know it's college football. I know you can lose to a team that's not supposed to lose to, but I think we're just that much better. And it showed us last week. The way we're manhandling teams is the way Alabama doesn't do this anymore, but it's the way Alabama used to manhandle teams.
Yeah.
Like Alabama used to be that team where every time we play them, we're like, well, we're just going to get killed. Like, we're going to die. Yeah. And only Auburn and LSU would play them well every year. Like, right. Just them two.
Exactly.
And I think that's the dogs now. I don't know who's going to play us well, but that's the dogs now.
Other than Alabama, I can't see anyone in the SEC that is going to come close. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I actually would like to see a close game every once in a while. And
get a little humbling.
Yeah. Well, maybe not humbling, but just, damn, I don't want to be bored by the third quarter anymore.
I know.
It's fun. It's really, really fun. The first half of these blowouts.
Are we complaining about winning?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. It shows the fact that we have made it. We've crested the mountaintop, Blake.
So, dude, it's actually kind of crazy though. I don't know. My opinion on UGA has changed so much. Like, winning, I know a couple of years ago when we first went to championship and we lost Alabama, I was like, wow, I'm just happy to be here. Like, we shouldn't have been there that year. Right. The Jake Fromm went last year. It was our year to win. Like, I thought we were the best team. We were when we showed it. This year, I think we're the best team again. I think we should win it all. And I think 100%. That should be the expectations going out. And I think before we cap this off, I do want to mention, because we talked about this, our hot takes, like our bold predictions to start of the year. I think Stetson Bennett could win the Heisman. And we're hindering him by taking him out in the third quarter every game. Yeah. If we let him stay in every game, he's putting up almost 500 yards every game. Like, easy. So I don't know. I think there's a chance. I don't know if he wins the Heisman, but I think.
But it's just crazy that his play has elevated him into that conversation.
Absolutely. He went from a walk-on.
What a lot of folks, including myself back then, thought was the one thing holding us back was Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
And then he makes it through the JT Daniels transfer in and leads us to a national championship. And now it's like, will he win the Heisman? Just an insane career turnaround that I'm certain has never happened before.
Dude, yeah. I found myself guilty of this during the offseason. I'm going, do we want him to move on though? Like, should we want him to move on? And then I was like, you know what? No, we don't. Because I ended on the fence that no, we don't want to move on because he just led us to a championship.
And so, I agree.
What's better than that? Too. And so that was kind of where I stopped. I was
now he's surprised the hell out of me.
He surprised the hell out of me. Yeah.
That play against Oregon where you know the one.
Yeah, the scrambled over here.
Scramble around, made three dudes miss and threw it perfectly to a wide open Lad McConkey. But then he also had a beautiful play. One of his touchdowns again in this, I think is the second half touchdown, maybe. To go up 31-0.
Yeah.
Was when it was like a design quarterback keeper that he took to the left, and then there's a defender right there in his face. And he listed out to the sideline like he was going to bubble to the sideline.
Right.
And then he sticks his left foot in the ground and immediately changes direction back to the inside, jukes that fella out of his shoes, and then he runs right up the middle for a touchdown.
He's so deceptively quick.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how fast he is.
It really is.
He has, I don't know. He's like,
and I think that's what the defenders are saying too. They're like, he's not going to beat me to the edge.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're left behind. I don't know. He reminds me of like creative players where you make a guy who doesn't look like he'd be good, but he's super quick. Like that's who he is. I don't know.
That is what he looks like.
It's super exciting. I think there's a chance he ends the year in the Heisman
agree.
candidates, like the watch. Like I
totally
hope he
agree.
does. That'd be so cool for him to go to New York. But I think the most important part about this before we wrap up is that the championship game last year against Alabama, he transcended. He elevated his game, and it's continued. It was not a fluke.
And Todd Munkins let him do that. Kirby and Todd unleashed him.
Yep.
And also, real quick, I actually have a quote from Stetson. You remember that he got sick during the game? He threw up on the field after a touchdown.
Yes.
This was his quote. I read this quote, and I legitimately had to go watch the video of him saying it because I thought it was like an Onion quote. It did not sound real, but it was hilarious. So, when asked in the post-game presser on any difficulty of playing at South Carolina since he has never played here, and it was that he said, quote, "This is the hottest place in the world. Temperature-wise, I don't know what it was, but it's so hot. It's also loud, and they play Sandstorm. And I think we did a good job after the first play. But on the first play, I didn't say set hut, and we snapped the ball anyway." And anyway, I just thought that was funny that was his takeaway after the 48-7 shellacking of them. He still talked about how it was so hot, and they played Sandstorm, which was cool. And then on the first play, they snapped it without meaning to.
You know what's funny about that though was that he actually the announcers were like, "It's actually not even that hot of a day out here." It's like
it was like
82 degrees. Yeah, it wasn't even that hot. Do you think he was hungover from the night before?
I do. I legitimately do. And
he's 25, right? Like he's an adult.
He's an adult man who can do that. That's fine. And it showed that it was fine. He literally threw up.
Kirby was probably not happy though.
No, Kirby probably wasn't the happiest with him, but he literally threw up after throwing an absolute dime of a touchdown to Brock Bowers, and then just turns around and right there in the middle of the field.
God,
but it was just
awesome.
He's
Brock Bowers had his tight end. He's just so good.
Oh yeah, you talking about that tiptoe catch? I think it was
I was talking about the 76-yard touchdown run where
79,
where he just catches it 79, jukes the guy out and then goes.
He didn't even get touched on that play.
Yeah.
How can you run 79 yards through the middle of an SEC defense and no one even touches you?
Because you break someone's ankles. He literally broke someone's ankles.
He did. It's crazy.
I hope the Falcons draft him 2 overall, and then we have him and Kyle Pitts.
No, stop that.
And Drake London.
Kyle Pitts would never see the field.
What? They can both play. I forgot. Brock can't block, can he?
Brock can't block?
It was a joke. It's a joke. He can. He's a kid.
Play.
They both can block. They both can block.
Kyle has been doing good on blocking.
Yeah, he has been. Yeah, it's about all he's been good at, really.
It's true.
My fantasy team knows.
Yes. All right. Well, I say that's enough UGA talk, and we wrap this bad boy up. Unless you got a closing argument here.
No. As we're going into this week, let's. I don't know. Do you think the Braves pull ahead of the Mets? Or do you think they just keep staying where they're at until they finally face each other again?
No, I think they will. In fact, what's the score now?
We were winning 4-0 last time I checked.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it real quick.
I don't know how to do with that. I like your confidence there. I do think it comes down to the wire. The fight. Falcons looking forward
4-2.
I actually do think the Falcons have a chance this weekend. Seahawks like this.
Yeah.
For me, if the Falcons don't win this game, we're in trouble. Like that's how I feel. I
can see that.
Because we talked about this earlier. My optimism for Art has a lot to do with how the season ends, not right now. And if we lose against bad teams, I'm going to be having some issues, and my optimism will be less optimistic. And last but not least, the Hawks season the training camp opens up this week. I'm pretty sure the end of this week or the beginning of next week.
Sick. We're getting there.
So we'll get there. We'll have a big Hawks drop, and we're gonna talk about the East, where we think they'll finish. The good, the bad, all the. I mean, the East is hard this year. I'm just gonna be honest, it's hard this year. You have 10 teams that can make the playoffs, and only 8 of them make it. So we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me.
Well, Blake, do you want to sign us off there?
Yeah, Starlog signing out. Captain's log. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Well, anyways, guys, hope y'all have a great week. Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Thank you everyone for your support. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate our friends who have been so supportive during this.
Yes, absolutely. We love all you guys.
All of you who don't know us who listen to our podcast, thank you. Like it's
all of you. There's so many of you.
All of you. Yeah. And share us with your friends too, so that we feeling more optimistic about this. But yeah, no, we really appreciate it. We love doing this. Thank you to Oh No, who makes our music, and thank you to Hayden's wife and my fiance, who've done a lot of work, and they put up with us talking about sports. And your girlfriend too, talking about sports once a week for a couple hours.
Absolutely, I'm telling you.
Yeah, let us chase our dreams. So yeah. Anyways, thank you everyone. Have a great week. Stay safe.
See y'all.